Well, welcome back to our Carmelite formation, and we're going to pick up where we left off. This will be what I understand is episode 7, and these are just short snippets to whet your appetite as we launch deeper into the Carmelite spirituality, and particularly John of the Cross. And these are building blocks and elements that I feel that you need to have on your map of knowledge in order to take deeply in John of the Cross and the significant meaning. Very simple. I know that if you're falling in love with God, you want to move fast. Be very basic information. Knowledge and the intellect are important when you're reading John of the Cross, when you're involved in Carmelite spirituality. The intellect is one of the faculties, the organs of the soul, that unites with God. The proximate means to that union is faith. Faith couples between God and man, humans, at the intellect level. So watch as we talk about this just briefly. So again, we're going to review the anatomy of the soul. The soul has 3 organs or faculties for the purposes of Carmelite spirituality. There's the will, there's the intellect, and there's the memory. Now, knowledge resides in the intellect. The intellect is an organ of the soul, just as the liver, the heart, and the lungs are organs to the human body. This is the anatomy of the soul, intellect. The intellect sort of feeds on knowledge, okay? The perfection of knowledge to truth for our purposes. And we're not talking about it in the precision that a philosopher or theologian will talk about it. We're talking about it in a useful means to you who are following the ordinary means in the spiritual life. The intellect, I want you to think of the intellect as one of the nests in the soul. Think of the Holy Spirit as a dove coming and laying the eggs in that nest. And those eggs have potential. Your intellect has great potential for life. Those eggs represent potentiality. And for our purposes at this level, those eggs are going to hatch into faith, supernatural faith, a theological virtue of faith that will unite the soul in the intellect with God, creature and creator. The intellect is, we're talking about perfecting the intellect. Remember, the eggs represent change too. There has to be a change. There's going to be a change in direction and transforming and potentiality. Think about that. I'm just introducing those concepts to you. Now, this faith has an object, and it's truth. That's why it's so important, why we have the sciences of theology, the science of philosophy, why from the early ages, from the beginning of Christianity, truth was important. And we're talking about supernatural truths, but natural truths, reality. Reality is important. And I think one of our Carmelite saints talks about, God, grant me the gift to know things as they are, and to not be mistaken or misguided by misunderstanding. Grant me that gift. And I think I had that posted in some of the first 6 videos as lead-ins coming in. Seppi, one of our helpers, can probably post that somewhere for you. You can go and get that as an image. So I just, concluding, this is an introduction to the intellect, the idea that we have this supernatural coupling to God with this intellect that will be the proximate means. It will be you will know by a way you know not know, through faith, supernatural faith. And so faith in the works of John of the Cross. That's what's going on in the dark night of the soul. We don't want to start there. We want to start with something a little bit more enticing because you have many blockers that will try to work against you. Again, in conclusion, I just want to say to you, you know you have an intellect. You know that intellect is very, very important. It was created for the divine. It has a capacity for infinite, though it is finite as we touch it and look at it. It has a capacity for the infinite God. And coupling that intellect to God is faith. That's why supernatural faith is so important. And again, there are three knowledges that we talk about, that the church has divided the teachings of Jesus Christ: what to believe, dogmatic theology; how to act, moral theology; and how to perfect one's actions. And that is spiritual theology. Mystical theology is the desire for God, the positive approach to God. Ascetical theology is the negative approach to God. God is not this, this, and this, therefore I have God here. Positive approach to God are the mystics who are in love with God, who are following God, who are united with God, or in the ordinary course. Supernaturally, God can work many things and way beyond my understanding to limit God. So intellect is there. We'll pick this up in episode 8. We'll talk about the three functions of the intellect. And again, we're just moving in 3-4 minutes to let you know intellect will be important when you read John of the Cross. Supernatural faith as a proximate means to couple the intellect to God will be important. Don't bypass that. Don't sweep it under the rug. It's not difficult at all. Very, very important in your prayer life. All right? Thank you.